All right, I'm gonna show uphill lie first on chip shots, pitch shots, and actually full swings as well. So what you're gonna start, that's what we're gonna discuss today a little bit, is I want this to always match the slope. That's the biggest thing that I want you to always understand is shoulders, hips, knees match the slope. So the golf club, so when you hit a wedge on an uphill shot, this is gonna go significantly higher because you're adding loft to the shot. See, that ball is gonna go way, way up. When you play can you play it back and have your spine this way, you're gonna dig big. Now, on a full swing, you have to keep your balance. You've got to have your tilts, and the ball is gonna go way higher. So you've got to take 2 or 3 more clubs and swing easier. Because here's what also happens. I'm gonna make my little compound pivot shift, and you'll see how my weight's all on my right leg. Now, I can't get my weight up the hill into my left leg because that would make me release and hit the ball fat, like that. So what you'll actually do is you'll hang back and you'll have more pressure on your right foot, and you're gonna hit up the slope. Well, you can clearly see how much more loft, how much more height that ball is gonna have. That's a huge thing. So I see this all the time on chip shots. People are trying to hit the ball up. They put the ball back in their stance because they've been told to, and they're gonna dig right into the ground. I see that all the time. So make sure this slope matches. It'll go right up the slope and go right up there by the hole, okay? So it's gonna be the opposite way on the downswing. So I'll show you that. All right, so you can clearly see that now I am going down the slope. So just like the opposite thing that I just did a minute ago, is you can't be here because your slope, this doesn't match the slope. Pretty simplistic here, that if I do that, I'm gonna blade the you-know-what out of it, okay? And gonna hit the middle of the ball. Now this is a wedge, but when I do this, now your head can't be behind the ball. On a downhill lie, your head has to be in front of the ball. So you'll notice the ball has to be ever so slightly back of center, just slightly, because this thing has to go down the slope. So now all my weight is left. So it's impossible to shift off the ball or shift into the right leg. So even though you're making a walking motion, you're gonna have all pressure right here. And so I'm gonna come down, and now that you can see clearly, this pitching wedge, or this lob wedge, sand wedge, whatever, is now gonna be coming in the effective loft of a 7-iron or an 8-iron. So say you have 200 yards and you're trying to hit a 5-iron or a 4-iron, it's gonna come out like a driver. So you're gonna have to, you can't hit it that, so that's why it's harder to hit downhill lie shots far, because it comes out so low. So you have to have a lot of speed, and you have to make sure there's no hill in front of you, otherwise you're really screwed, okay? So, and you can practice doing this, just little chip shots. As you can kind of see, I'm gonna go right down the slope like that. And so you'll hit it lower, and you won't have as much weight transfer. So you can't go back like this and then try to get down that slope. You're gonna mess up on shots, okay? So now I'm just gonna flip over here, because a lot of people get this one wrong. So they think maybe go down the counterbalance the hill, side hill, by bending the knees too much. You don't. So you're going to be bent over more. So you really have to go a little wider. You cannot transfer weight. So even though I'm moving my club by my hands going over my shoulder and my feet rolling, you know, it's not going to be a very big swing, because if I go really big, I'm gonna move my head off the ball and I'm gonna lose balance. So let's say I'm gonna go to that little box there. All I'm trying to do here, so you can see how I can't, my weight wants to go down the hill. So you've got to really focus on keeping it nice and light and making smaller swings to counterbalance that. And then final one is ball above the feet, like so. Now, this also makes the ball go more left. And something that a lot of people don't know is if I'm hitting a wedge like I am demonstrating this, by the way, this is like 5:30 in the morning, just now becoming light. So when I do this, look how far left the ball is gonna go. The more loft a wedge, the more left that it's gonna go. So a straighter face, like a 3-iron or 4-iron, the ball's above your feet, and you're thinking it's gonna be a big swooping hook, it won't be near as much as a wedge. So a short little shot's gonna hook quite a bit, naturally. So play for that, you gotta aim way more right. The other part of this is now I get to be more upright. So the more upright that you are, the more around circular it'll be as it's still swinging around you, and you'll see that it's much easier to make a fuller swing because you're matching the slope, right? So this is easier to do than I think all of them, but it's harder to control because the more loft you have, the more left it goes, okay? So I hope that helps you guys on uphill, downhill, and side hill lies. You can come see me here at Country Hills in Hendersonville, Tennessee for a live lesson. You can do Zoom lessons, one-on-one. I have a membership site. Check out rkswingking.com. I appreciate all of you guys. Everybody have a great day.